Well, good day, everybody. Welcome to another video, and I'm so glad that you guys could once again join me today. We are going out on our walk again. I typically walk around my community here, and because they have trails here. But when I talk to you guys, I like making it special, and I like going out to somewhere that I think is special, which is this trail here. So we are going to, once I figure out, oh, Dwayne, yeah, I make a U-turn here. Anyway, see what happens when you start talking and driving. Anyway, let me make my U-turn, because I'm going the wrong place. Anyway, let's start that again. So anyway, so glad that you guys can join us today, and as we're going on yet another walk, and just a time of some real talk. I find being out here is where you can just really, just be real, you know what I'm saying? And so that's what we're going to be doing today. So 51 degrees this thing is saying right now. I did not sign up for this. Arizona. Come on now, I didn't sign up for 51 degrees. I signed up, the contract specifically said it was going to always stay between 80 and just under 100. That's what my contract said. Just kidding. I know. Yeah, it does get cool out here. In fact, I was out last night again. I fell asleep for a little bit, but there was an owl that was right there, and I kept waking up because I was afraid, because his sound was getting closer and closer. I didn't want to wake up and that thing was staring at me. So I said, I can't do it. And plus my face was like ice cold, so it wasn't really working out. So I got to figure out a solution for that. But anyway, let's go ahead and get on this, make sure I know exactly where I'm going here, and then we'll go ahead and start the convo. Hey, all right, how you doing today? Yeah. Hey, thank you. Take care. Oh, it actually said on there, they said it's gonna be up to 80 today. What? I knew one of these days. And of course, I dress extra warm, so anyway. If I get too warm, I guess I'll take this sweatshirt off. All right, looking for a place to park now. Okay, so yeah, how about I found out that, yeah, today is gonna be, the high today is gonna be 80 degrees. Look how I'm dressed. So I could tell you right now, I'll probably, right at the quarter mark of our walk today, I'm going to be shedding this at least. That's the thing too, is like when you live in climates like this, you just got to learn how to dress in layers, because yeah, if you don't, man, you're going to be sweating. I learned that out in California too when we were living out there. So, but anyway, today's walk, we're going to start off on the trail like we normally do, but I haven't done this in a while, but I'm going to go up that mountain. We're going to go one of those right there. Okay, one of those near those peaks over there. We've done that before. I just haven't done it in a while. but we'll be doing that today. The trail, there's another trail that's here. It actually goes around this whole valley area. There's a short version, and then there's a much longer version. It's like 6 miles, I think, round trip. So if you really got some time, you know, that's definitely a good walk to do. I haven't done that one yet. I've done the shorter version, but either way, let's go ahead and get it going, y'all. Yeah, so before we get started in our conversation, again, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for participating in our current special promo that we're having over at sombertree.com. And man, I tell you, our folk, we just been at work, Jack. We've been at work. But I want to pay special close attention to this new product line that we have just introduced, and that's the Miss Sylvia's product line. And these are going to be cleaning products. We're starting with the washing powder, but there's going to be some other things we're going to introduce under that as well. And these are cleaning products that we produce, inspired by our own people. And I'm very excited about that. And so yeah, you guys have been jumping on that, and yeah, and we're gonna have a lot more out there too. The thing I like about it too is the smell. You know, when I wash my clothes, you know, when you get things out of the store, you know, that says that it has a hint of lavender or a hint of this or whatever, a lot of those smells that they put in there are like chemicals. In our stuff, we don't do that. The stuff that what makes the clothes smell are real oils from real plants, you know, and that's what we put in there. And that's the thing I really like about it the most. It's not going to be overwhelming, but just enough, you know. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure you go to sombertree.com, check it out. And like I said, we got some more things we're going to be dropping in the near future, and so I'm very excited about that. And again, thanks y'all to our Somber Tree family. Okay, so already I'm getting hot. Dang on, man. The one day I didn't check the weather. Dang, anyway, it just, I don't like carrying anything too much extra with me, but whatever, so be it. I don't know if I would have came out here with shorts though, but anyway, so yeah, you'll see me stopping here in a moment. As soon as every now and then, the thing I like about out here too, they have little benches out here, and so when I get to the next bench, I'm gonna go ahead and change up, and then yeah, we'll go ahead and get started from there. It didn't take long at all, man. Woo. It got hot out here. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with our conversation. As you can see, I had to take that off, man, because you start to feel it the more you start walking, and we're gonna, once we start going up this hill, I'm really gonna start feeling it. But you know, I did this video a couple of days ago, but I said, you know, I need to redo this video, and because I think there's more to be said on this, and I want to make sure people really get and understand and hear what's actually being communicated here. And for starters, for those of you who follow us on this platform, you know, you should know that when it comes to history and any discussions on historical accounts, I take it extremely seriously. Both the good parts of history and the not so good parts of history. You know, for me, it's really about accuracy and making sure that you know, what we're talking about, we're being accurate and we're being truthful. And I guess, well, it's not a matter of guessing. It's I know. I'm like this because, like many of you, I've become so angry at the fact that once you start discovering what these powers that shouldn't be have done when it comes to our stories, when it comes to our histories and our cultures and stuff like that, it fuels me to say, you know what? Nah, man, we got to get this thing right. We got to get this thing right, you know, and you know, at times you just want to throw everything out, but you really can't do that, because what you're really doing is you're trying to make sense of a scene of a crime. You know what I mean? And any good detective is going to say, oh, wait a minute, don't throw that out, or don't sit there. You know what I mean? And one of the other detectives may say, oh man, it's no big deal, this is just trash. And it's like, no, we're going to keep everything here. And you know, and that's kind of how I am. And so I can't even begin to tell you how many times I've had people that will briefly come to this channel. They will hear two things I say, and they will conclude that I'm telling people to throw out the Bible. I repeat, I've never said that. I've never told anybody to do that. I said we got to keep everything, but we do have to question everything as well. Question all of it. Later on, I'll tell you about this comment that someone posted to me. I'm still waiting to hear back from them, but I do want to chat about it for a moment. But so yeah, so I just want to establish that in case people don't realize that. Yeah, when it comes to history, I take it very, very serious. And anybody, and I do mean anybody, that I come across that isn't taking it seriously, that's, you know, kind of feels like they can take certain liberties and add things or take things out or whatever, you know, I don't have too many kind words for those kind of people. And unfortunately, what I have come across is a numbers of our people who feel as if they can do that to our own history in order to enhance their narrative, the narrative that they're trying to push. We're getting it in there now, y'all. I've had a couple of close calls on this part of the trail, so I had to upgrade my shoes a little bit. For real. So, you know, for me, when I first came into the Hebrew space, one of the things, like I said, I still to this very day, you know, very grateful for some of the things that I learned in that space, was the importance of doing your own reading and doing your own research. And it's something I never stopped. But towards the tail end of it, I started seeing things as I started looking closer and paying close attention to what people were teaching out there. And I started looking this stuff on my own. I was like, wait a minute, something ain't adding up here. And again, moving in, trying to be as truthful and as honest as possible. Don't have any personal vendettas or angry at anybody. Just want to make sure I'm getting all the information. So in our travels, we came across an individual or individuals who were pushing a certain narrative that was false, but they still was pushing it anyway, even to the point of making up professors that did not exist, presenting other information that wasn't even true, email correspondences that were made up. And all we simply did was pointed that stuff out and said, wait a minute, this ain't adding up. This is wrong. And the moment we pointed it out, that's when all hell broke loose. and people got angry. And I was like, well, wait a minute now. I thought we've been, all this time, we talk about we're walking in the truth. We're in the truth. We're in the truth. And why would you get angry when it's revealed that you ain't? You know what I'm saying? And that just started a whole big thing, much larger thing of something I've been noticing, a much larger trend of our people literally feeling like they have to make things up in our history, literally feeling like they have to alter our history in order for it to be valid. Trust me, I know I'm out of breath. I just haven't done it in a moment, but still, it's not that bad. The most challenging part of this trail is really making sure your foot is planted on the right place. Because there's gravel down here, man, I'm telling you. You step on the wrong spot, you find yourself sliding. Oh, man. Man, I'll tell you, especially when you haven't done it in a while, it ain't no joke. I'm gonna get my exercise in, boy. So anyway, we're almost finished. Our final destination is right up there, and you can see there's a trail that goes up there. This part ain't too bad, but that's where we're heading now. I just want to pull over for just a moment. It's funny, it's an older couple. I let them pass earlier on our walk, and man, they just kept right on going. They ain't even stopped. So it's good to see that. You see older people out here still doing it. That's what I want to be like when I grow up. For real. All right, we're almost up here, and then we can sit down and really go into this talk a little bit. So we're almost at the top now. So this is where it gets a little intense. You really got to watch where you put your foot, because it gets narrow. But it's not too bad. It's a quick elevation. As you can see, the views though, really, really nice. So as you can see, really nice couple. Yeah, you can't be playing around up here, man. All right. And we made it. Woo. You know, I gotta get all the way up. I would stand on that, but you know, I ain't too crazy. There you go. We're gonna go sit down for a minute here. Again, being careful. Okay, so where were we? So yeah, I was talking about how, you know, my time in just in the Hebrew world, you know, what I encountered, you know, then we start looking a little bit deeper and start coming up with a whole bunch of things. And my wife and I, we were trying to figure out, like, you know, this whole resurgence of, you know, our people not are saying that they are not, have no African in them whatsoever, that they're 100% Native American, and they look at Africa like with a disdain, you know, and you know, there's no, you know, when you honestly take a look, and like I said, I would really encourage you to take the time, go through our videos where we've actually go point by point by point, and we show people not to just look at what's on paper, but look at your cultural expressions, those expressions that you just do innately, that nobody has to tell you. And it shows you right there exactly where you come from, you know. And so anyway, I'm not going to get too far into that, but there are, so anyway, but this resurgence of, it's not just people acknowledging our Native American roots, because many of us in the Americas, that, you know, that are African American, that, you know, you can trace your lineage to slavery, to the transatlantic slave trade. You will find that many of us do have some level of Native American in us, you know, and that's very true. But what's also very true is that you also have Caucasian or European in you as well. So, you know, but people make, and in many of these cases, you'll find that there's a greater level, a much higher level of European in you than there is Native American. You know what I'm saying? So logically, it would make sense that you would make a much bigger deal about the European in you than you would your Native American blood. You know what I'm saying? But of course, we live in an illogical world today. I'm not telling people you have to do that, but I'm just saying, just follow your own logic. That's all I'm trying to say. And so you have people who really make this huge deal about their Native American, you know, connections, alleged Native American connections and all of that. And, you know, because their grandmother told them, and you'll find that a lot of these people, that's what they rely on, is that this one account from one relative in your entire family, as if that one account overrides all the other accounts of everybody else in your lineage. And so, you know, when I started looking at that and just saying, okay, this ain't really making sense. But then I started seeing things that were being posted on social media. I started seeing people posting pictures that were clearly altered, you know, pictures of Native Americans, but they were darkening their faces, literally running it through Photoshop and darkening the faces of these individuals. And, you know, and I started calling this stuff out. I said, no, you can't do this. You cannot do this, you know, because that is not truth. It's false. It's not real. You know, this is phrase or whatever you want to call it that's been floating around for some time, is that whitewashing history, that, you know, these white people, they have whitewashed history, you know, and to a degree that is correct. That is absolutely correct. And you will find cases of that, many cases of that. You know, you can look at Egypt, for example. You can look here in the Americas. You can see that as well. You can go down to Central South America. You can, you know, Brazil, and you want to look at examples of whitewashing history, you're going to find plenty of them there. Look in the Dominican Republic. There are many examples of whitewashing history, many examples of that. But what I'm saying now is we're living in an era where we're starting to see a blackwashing of history as well, where we're seeing numbers of our people who are taking great liberties to blackwash history and to claim parts of history that we had very little or nothing really to do with it at all. And we have to start being honest with this. And, you know, and anytime this stuff is called out, you know, it's, you know, people get angry, they get mad.
Okay, so for this part of the video, this was actually a little bit unplanned because there were some other images I wanted to take you through, but this one had so much going on in it. We're just going to stick with this one. But if you want to find some of the other images that we have found, discovered, not just the Russian images, but images that are being put out, purporting to be, Native Americans, but clearly you can see that there was some editing that was done and all of that. We have those images and we posted them on our community page right here on YouTube. You just have to do a bit of scrolling and you'll find it. And I may even have done a video or two on that as well. So it's there. We've already done that already. But this particular one has yielded quite a bit. Then you'll see that. So this is going to be, for the next 20 minutes or so, it's going to be more of a forensics, analyst of this particular image. So just want to kind of let you know. So for the next 22 minutes, we're going to be getting into the details and breaking down the image and stuff like that. So just want to give you heads up on that. Okay. Okay, so this is just an example here. One of many, 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 many examples I could give. We could spend weeks on this. And this is typically the type of stuff that's uploaded on social media, by other Black people who we make these claims, regarding artifacts and things like that. And a lot of times things are cropped out, things are edited, and most of our people, because we don't take the time to actually analyze any of these things, we just accept it as face value. And so, but it's important, it's imperative for those of you who are truly seeking truth. This is not about hating Black people. This is not about hating anybody. It's about getting to the truth. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually walk you through one example that just came my way today, matter of fact. And I'll just show you here. So this is from this channel, YouTube channel. I know absolutely nothing about these people. Whoever's behind the video or who is behind the channel, I don't know anything about them at all. So I don't have any personal thing or anything like that. We're just looking at the actual what's being presented in a public forum, just like we would expect no less from anybody else who would look at our stuff and analyze it as it's being presented on a public forum. So let's just kind of walk through this here because I want to show you, just some of the things to look out for. So here you go. So right here, the claim is this is King David, 1535 icon from the collection of the Kirilo Belozersky, hope I'm saying that right, Museum Reserve from the Church of the Archangel Gabriel. Okay. And if you take a look at the details, take a good look at the details. You're going to look at the hair. You're going to look at the crown, which is kind of faded a little bit, right? There's some things here as you look at it, you begin to see some things here. Like, for example, if you notice how some of these lines are sharp, others are not. Some of them are just the white. You notice, like here, for example, you notice how this is faded, right? This is faded. This is faded. But when you get to some of these letters here, behind these letters is actually bright. Okay. And, that could be something, that could be nothing, but there's a little bit, it's too even. And the reason why it's a little bit too even and not natural is because all you have to do is come over here and look at this right over here. And you notice it's not like that. Notice how it's just a basic brown behind the lettering, and it's perfectly natural. There's no, off coloring. It's a tiny bit, but for the most part is natural. This right here, when you look at it, you can automatically tell that, it's a little bit too sharp, and, as if someone may have copied this from another image to put this over. Whoever put this together, by the way, as we go through this, you're going to see they actually put in a lot of work and they knew what they were doing. But, if you know how to look at these things, you'll quickly see that, some of this stuff, they it's just editing at the end of the day. Now, if you take a look at the hair, look at the hair and look at the beard and all of that, right? And then I want you to pay attention, notice the eyes, notice the neckline, okay? Notice the hands, and just notice the details. I want you to take a look at the coloring. I want you to take a look at the details, okay? And we're going to come back. I'm just trying to walk you through so you can see. We're going to keep coming back so you can see exactly what's going on. So anyway, so the claim is that this is of David. All right. Now the individual's giving us the reference on where to go to find this image, and we're going to go right there. Okay. But I was able to find it on another website. Then we're going to go to the main website where you can find the actual image, which is this one actually. Now take a look at this image. All right. So right off the rip, and you'll find it right here. This is not David, first of all. Instead, it's supposed to be an image of Solomon and Isaiah. All right. And this is, you can see is an actual, you can see the whole picture here, right? So if you notice here, this picture has been cropped. They cropped this part out, but this one is not cropped. Notice the background again. Notice how the background here is like a brown, but the original image, it's actually yellow. Now, how did that change? All right. We're going to look at the lettering. You remember I talked about the background of the lettering. You notice, and it's not the greatest picture, but when something has been edited, it shows right out, So if you look at the lettering here, you see it's more of an even color behind the lettering. So that tells us right there that, okay, that this is probably just a straight picture, like from someone's phone or something like that. Okay. And you also notice that, unlike with this picture here, the other individual was cropped out on this one, whereas this one you were seeing a more complete picture. We're going to go to the source here, but I'm just showing you this one here. And then because I want just you to see this. So it's actually not David, but it's actually Solomon and Isaiah. And I don't know. I would assume, I guess this is Solomon, and I guess that's Isaiah. Okay. Now notice the hands. Okay. Notice the hands here. See, this is really sticking out the more I'm looking at this. Anyway, notice the hands. Okay. So, you see the hands. That's a type of a hand gesture that you'll see in a lot of Russian iconography. How you say that? Russian images. Let's just put it that way. Okay. You'll see it in a lot of, it's late for me. So you'll see this hand gesture in a lot of Russian paintings of this day. But if you notice here, the hands aren't the same. And that's really interesting. Okay. So anyway, so now what we're going to do is we're going to switch up, and we're going to go to the, give me just a moment here. And we're going to go to the actual page that has documented all of the Russian, I'm going to try to say it right, icons from this particular monastery. So let me bring that up here, and here we go. Okay. So here on this page, you're going to find all the images that have been recorded, because again, we're coming here because according to what we just saw from that video, that this is where the image was acquired. This is where the individual got this image. Okay. Now we're going to just sweep right through these images here. All right. So you're coming along with me, and we're just looking at all of these images here, and we're going to see if we can find that image. All right. So we're going to keep going through this. Now, if you're watching me for the first time, this is the first time you've, seen any of my videos, I would highly recommend for you to check out the video that we did where we explored these Russian images and went to the Russians themselves to get an accurate explanation as to why is it that the faces on some of these are darkened, and it's not what you think it is or what people have been telling you. And so, but I would encourage you to go to that video, because we actually dig into the details And, because we want to get to the facts. We want to know why. Okay. I mean, I would be happy if there were black people, that it's okay. But at the end of the day, we want to make absolutely sure. Okay. And so here we go. So as we're going right here, I think we found them. In fact, there's a couple of these here. All right. And, but we're going to keep going here because we want to make sure that we're not missing anything. All right. We want to make sure of that. So we're just going through all the rest of these and we're going to keep on going here. See, right on site, many of our people will look at these images and say, see, these are all images of black people. They're painting black people, but that's not the case at all. I will give you a hint, if you will, from the video that we did, is that the reason why you will find that some of these images, the faces are darkened, is because these type of paintings, unlike some of the other paintings that you may come across, they were painted in layers and the canvas was a dark wood. And so you will find layers. These are very ornate images, as you can see, and they were layered with sometimes with jewels and different layers of paint. I think we even talked about the type of paint that's used. Well, just like any other ancient painting, over time, the paint will wear off. And, and then when it comes to the face, a lot of times the face is a little more delicate and detailed. So, what it appears is that they would leave the face alone, but the parts that were a lot easier to, keep the paint fresh would be more the clothes and stuff like that. But the faces, they kind of, we can tell they just kind of left those alone. So over time, that paint weared off, and then it gives us what appears to be a darkened faces. Now, some people have used there's an explanation out there that candles in the church cause the faces to get dark. I found no evidence of that, but when it comes to the faces, however, we were able to uncover quite a bit of factual evidence on that. So anyway, now we've looked at this whole page, and we're going to make sure it's not a page 1 of 2 or something like that. We want to make sure we're not missing anything. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do is let's go here and we're going to do a comparison. So this is pretty much the same image that I showed you earlier. Let me go back here to my keynote. Okay. So we're going to be switching back. Yeah, it's the same image. Okay. Just take my word for it. Okay. It's the same image. The other one is going to be a little different, that I found on that page here. So, all right. So now we're going to work off of this. All right. So we're going to train our eye just to make sure that we're looking pretty much at the same image. Okay. So let me go back and let's switch up. As you can see, it's the same image. All right. So I'm not pulling your leg or anything like that. You can see for yourself. All right. So take note again, the clothes, the color, the face, the crown, all of that. We're focusing on the image on the left-hand side. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm just going back and forth so we can see, what's up there. Okay. Now let's go back to the image that was being presented to us as King David. Okay. So let me switch back over here and let me come over here. Okay. Now, okay. So you got that on the screen. Now we're going to start switching again. All right. So let's switch back to that. Now there's quite a few things now. Now we're able to kind of get an idea of, now we're going to be able to get a better idea of what happened here. All right. So let me go here, and there's a number of things I was able to spot out here. So let me do this here. Okay. So we was able to find, like I said, again, number one, we can see that something's going on with the lettering here, because if you go to the original image, you will see that the lettering is different. All right. So I don't know Russian. I'm not going to pretend to know it. But if you look at the first line here and you look at the first line here, they're different, aren't they? Same thing with this line. They're different. This line, different. This line, different. Okay. So the lettering is different. Okay. That's the first thing. The second thing is we're going to take a look at the face. All right. Let's look at the face here. Now, on this image, the person that's being, I guess this is supposed to be Solomon. Notice the hair. He's got hair. He's got some gray curly hair. I wouldn't mind having something like that. Well, I'll probably look weird wearing my hair like that. But anyway, I guess some hair is better than none. But anyway, but take a note here. All right. This image, the face, around the face has bushy hair and a beard. If you go right here, it's not defined. This individual here, you could tell it looks like it's like curly hair, but it's not defined. Okay. It's not as defined as what we see over here. Second thing we see here, this image has a beard. This one does not. All right. Let's move on. Notice the coloring. The robe on this one is a blue overcoat kind of like robe, and then I guess whatever's under there. Notice it's like a tan. Now let's go here. It's the overcoat it's like they reversed it. It's the overcoat is red and what's under is a blue. Okay. So you notice that as well. Okay. I'm just kind of touching on certain things here. And then we're going to go to that second image, because there's something there too we need to point out as well. Now, this one is blaringly obvious. Take a look at the neck. Oh my goodness. The editing on this one is really bad. I mean, it's really bad. You can see that it just blurred out the neck. And I'm going to tell you why they did that. All right. So you can see right here, the neck, they done try to do something here. Now we're going to go to the actual original image. You don't see that. Because notice the neckline here. The neckline, you see there's some little level of shadowing right there. Well, that's natural, right? When you look at the neckline here, not really. It's just straight. You see what I'm saying? So when like I said, I'm not an expert when it comes to Photoshop, but man, I've been working with Photoshop for over 20 years, I think, man. So, there's things I can look at right on site and I can see. So I'm not just talking off the top of my head here. Okay. So now let me go to the other image. All right, let's go back over there because there's two images. All right. So this is the first one. Now let's go to the second one. All right. Now you notice this second one here is flipped. Now, what I'm guessing here, I guess it's the same people that's supposed to be depicted in this image. But notice the hands now this time. All right. So now we're going to go back to, I know this is an exercise, but it's something that you need to do. You're trying to get to the truth, right? All right. So now let's go back here. Sorry. Right here. All right. So now let's flip a little bit here. All right. We're going to flip here and notice the hands, right? This is in the image that's being presented here. And now let us flip back to the other image. All right, there you go. All right. So the hands, you can tell, so what it looks like to me based off of this is that whoever edited this the photo, it almost seems as if they were just literally taking body parts almost and putting it on, they were playing around with those two different images. So it looks like to me based off of this is that they went with this. You see how this one is facing, to the right, It looked like they went with that, but somehow they did something with the crown or something. It's because if you look at the crown on this one, I don't know what that is supposed to be on his head, but for whatever reason, they said, nah, we ain't going to go with that. Instead, we're going to go with this crown. Hold on. We're going to go with this one. And so what they did was they flipped the head to the other side. Notice again, the natural shadowing there. All right. So they took the head from this one and they placed it on this one. Right. That's what they did. And then they did something with the lettering here. That was changed. Changed the colors. And let's see what else was done. Then they added, hold on, go back. Okay, and then they added something to the robe. Now, where did this robe come from? Let me see. Let me think for a sec. Okay, I see what they did. All right, so this robe here, notice it's just a red and that's it. You see how this one is dotted? It's like a chocolate kind of undergarment and it's got these white dots. And then the overcoat or the whatever you want to call it, the robe itself, it's just a red, right? Like a wine red or whatever. But there's no dots. So what they did is that they added the dots. Oh, was I not showing that to y'all? Hold on. So it's like, okay, so that's what I was just describing to you. So what it looks like is that for this one, they added this. You see all these white dots here? That was added as well. All right. So there's a lot of things here that I'm showing you that was changed and edited. Now, are they telling you, they're giving you the source. They're telling you King David, 1535. Well, they're saying 1535. King David is false. 1535, I think that's true. This painting was done in 1535. And this is an icon from the collection. They're pointing to the source, which we did. We went to the source. But when we go to the actual source, what we had discovered is this depiction of it that you see on the screen ain't what's there. So they're telling you basically a partial truth. And this is what we're talking about. So what is a partial truth? It's a lie. That's what a partial truth is. It's a lie. And so, like I said, there are many examples that I can give you of numerous images that were being presented by black folks, not white people, black folks, in order to sell you a narrative that they're pushing. So they have our people looking to Russia for self-identity. This is how crazy it's become now. We're literally going to Russia to look for self-identity. So this is just an exercise. Now, we've just spent 22 minutes dissecting this. Now, you and I both know the average person ain't going to spend that amount of time to do that. So what does the average person do? They take the easy way out and they'll just go ahead and pass it on and accept it as truth. My advice to you, if you don't have the time to prove it out, don't repost it. Just keep it moving. It's just as simple as that. So the last point I want to make is this, is that we put a lot of emphasis and focus on white people or other people and how they are very committed and detailed on how to deceive us as a people. Well, what you're looking at right now is clearly a black person that has those same type of commitments to deceive other black people. The sad thing about it is this, is that the people who do this kind of stuff, and I'm talking about black folks now, they do it with the understanding that their own people will not take the time to read and to inform themselves on any of this. So this is why you see like black preachers or teachers out here that literally will say anything and just throw anything out. They'll even put documentaries out or anything like that, you know, and that's why they push, a lot of these people push documentaries, because documentaries is a way for them to tell their narrative without you having you to take the time to read and to check it out yourself. This is why they push these different things. And so that's why here on this platform, we encourage you got to take the time and look these things up yourself, because if you don't, you're going to be deceived, and you think that just because these people may look like you, that they have your best interest at heart. But as you can see, whoever did this, when I tell you, they were very committed. They were very, very committed to their deception. I mean, I was just telling my wife, I said, now I have done things with Photoshop in the past, just being funny, like taking a head and putting it here. But that was like in-house funny stuff, if I was doing like a birthday card or something like that. And I know the amount of time and work it goes in matching pixels and, knowing where to sample when you're doing a stamp tool, and all of that stuff. It can be very detailed work. What this person did was basically built a digital Frankenstein. I mean, moving one head from another body and all of this stuff, and moving letters around and changing clothes and stuff. It's a lot of commitment. I want you to understand what I'm just saying to you. There are Black people that are very, very committed in keeping you in deception. You're going to have to understand this. See, a lot of people, what I just said to you, it's going to go over your head, because a lot of our people don't believe that. But what I'm telling you is that just as you have people, white people, other people that are committed to keeping you in deception, there are people who look like you that are just as, if not more, committed in keeping you in deception. I hope you really hear what I'm saying. And this is why I spent the time I did with this particular illustration here, because I want you to see just how committed these individuals are. Now, the person that posted this in this video, I'm not saying they are the ones that came up with this image. I mean, I would lean more towards probably they got it from somewhere else. But what was interesting, I did a search for, there's all kinds of tools out here you can search. I did a search for this image to see, okay, where else has this image been posted? Now, if I was searching for the Mona Lisa or, some of these other famous paintings, it would show up all over the place, because it would be, because it's an original. But when I did a search for this image, it only showed up one other page. And this is out of millions of pages. It only showed up in one other page. I'm talking about this image on the left-hand side. So that right there from the rip told me this was something that someone messed up. So minus all the other stuff I went through in this past 20 minutes or so, that alone told me that someone made this up. So anyway, just wanted to plug that in as well so that you can take that in consideration. And someone left a comment recently, and they hit the nail on the head. They said this is what people do when they not only hate themselves so much, but when they hate the culture that they came out of. And that's what we're seeing right now, is that our people are going through an era right now where the hatred that we have for each other is so bad that we're now just will grasp at anybody else's culture in order to claim it as our own. Another trend that I've noticed is that you see a lot of people, sorry, I had something on my lens there. I call it a lazy pivot. And what it is that you'll see a lot of our people saying, well, Black people, we invented everything. Black people, we're the foundation of everything. We created everything. We did everything. All these inventions out here, we did all of it. And it's kind of a way of shutting down legitimate discussion, historical discussion on things. Have Black people, when you look throughout history, starting from Africa and going from there, yes, you're going to see plenty of examples throughout. We've talked about this
in great detail on our platform. Again, I mean, kingdoms going back tens of thousands of years that were, in the area of sciences and arts and stuff like that, that a lot of historical publications won't even acknowledge. That's very true. And like I said, again, we talk about this in great lengths on this platform. Other platforms go even further, but we talk about it. And so there is no argument at all in our ability to invent and to create things. We're a very creative people, and a deeply spiritual people too. But every invention isn't one that we came up with. Europeans have come up with some things too. Asians have come up with things too. People in the what we call today Central and the South Americas, they've come up with things too. All these cultures have all invented things as well. And for us to just blanketly try to take credit for everybody's invention is really is extremely disingenuous. It's extremely disingenuous when you do that kind of thing. And so that's why on our platform, when people come our way and they try to push those kind of arguments and saying that, we just invented everything, I'm going to ask you questions. I'm going to ask, what exactly are you talking about? And I notice when I ask people questions, because see, what I know is a lot of people want to be heard, but they don't want to listen. I've had people come to our platform all the time that will write these long comments, and then as soon as I start asking them some basic questions, they get mad, they get offended. So I'm not going to be too long-winded in this video here, but I just want to say that this whole thing, I know at one time we were saying, well, we're in the truth. We're in the truth. Things are being revealed now, and we're in the truth and all of that. I would say most of that is really a lie. It really is. This whole concept or this whole thing that we're walking in the truth, you're going to find that most of our people don't want truth. They really don't. Most of our people are comfortable with lies. We're comfortable with people telling us the things exactly what we want to hear. I can't tell you how many times I've seen things posted on social media where people are taking historical records out of context. They're not showing you sources of things. They're just making these blanket statements about stuff throughout history. And people just repeat it. They agree with it. They repeat it. And then that's it. But this whole aversion that we have of really taking seriously personal investigation in discovering who we are. Our history, our culture is so phenomenal. It's rich, it's mysterious, it's beautiful, it's powerful, it's inspiring. It has all of these wonderful things to it. Why on earth would we want to feel the need to alter it in any kind of way? We don't need to do that. We need to learn from all of these different points of our history, both the good and the bad. One of the worst things, I think that's happened just in 2023, I would say, is the rise of AI artwork. Now, I say that with coming from a person that uses AI artwork, but the way we do it is we take what's already existing, we want to portray beautiful families, our relationship, our relationships with each other, our children, Black people doing, just everyday things. And we just put that in artwork. That's how we use it. But what you see now is people using this type of technology now as a way of enhancing their alternative universe stories. You see this in the Hebrew world where they will literally just reinvent all of these different Jewish stories and just put Black faces on them. And, the people who say that we're not African at all, but we're Native American, they'll take a whole tribe and paint them black. So this whole blackwashing thing is really being enhanced thanks in part to AI artwork. And this is a real thing. This is happening now. So if we want to hold white people accountable for whitewashing history, we have to be just as hard on ourselves when we blackwash history. Again, our history is a beautiful thing. We have no reason to make things up, to enhance it. The joy and the pain and the happiness and the grief, all of that paints a beautiful mural that should be passed down to generations on its own. We don't need to enhance any of it. So when people like myself, when I ask questions and I'm trying to get to the bottom of what you're trying to present, if you find yourself getting mad or upset, it's probably because maybe, just maybe, what you're saying, and maybe you know this as well, you don't have it together, you know? And so I would really encourage you to really learn to value the skin that you're in, the culture that you was birthed into, and just embrace it. And I mean, that's really all I can say, you know, on that. So I hope you got something out of this video. And I hope, if anything, it would encourage you to learn to appreciate what you already have. We don't need to take from anybody else. What we have is something that we can appreciate and love, and we can be honest when it comes to our history. You know, I've talked about on this platform, you got people out here wanting to take the cultures and the practices. It's one thing to identify that these people had dark skin. I think if someone's honest, you're going to find that there are many cultures that have a portion of it that were people who had darker skin. That's very true. But just because these people may have had darker skin, it doesn't mean that they are your people. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, I'll just close off with the whole Hebrew thing. You have people who are just going to the nth degree to say that the Sephardi Jews are actually us. But when you look at the entire picture, the history of the Sephardi Jews were selling you into slavery. Sephardi Jews took part in writing the Talmud that contains all kinds of passages that hate black folks, you. But what a lot of our people do is we treat history as if it's a buffet. You know, we pick and choose parts of other people's cultures in order to patchwork our own unique culture. And what I'm telling you is you got to stop doing that. Your culture in of itself is one that has a lot of things in it. And I would just simply encourage you to take the time to discover it. It's simple as that. So typically what happens in videos like this, people will dive into the comments and say, well, what are you doing about it? Or what's the solution? I'm tired of people talking about the problems and not giving solutions. Well, the solution is simple. It's not anything. It's not a bullet point. It's not a seminar. You don't have to hit my Patreon to get the answer. It's very simple. The solution starts with you. That's right. It starts with you. It starts with individuals who are committed to life itself, to where they, no matter what, are going to pursue 100% truth, no matter where it leads. That's where it begins. And if you are not ready for that journey, if you're not ready to make that commitment to 100% truth, then you might as well just go ahead and get off the station right now. Get off at this station right now. Because clearly this journey isn't for you. It isn't. You know, you have to be a person willing enough to question everything. Everything. Many of our people are too afraid to do that. We are very good at making a lot of noise. We are very good in the department of emotionalism, as I said earlier in a previous video. When it comes to the bank of emotionalism, we are billionaires. We are very good at that. But there are certain things that we have been trained, thanks to slavery, to never, ever question. And the Bible is one of those things. And our people, many of our people, are too afraid to do that. I just got a comment recently from someone telling me, be very careful. Be very careful. I said, be careful of what? Asking questions? Asking questions, I got to be very careful. If that's not plantation talk, I don't know what that is. So if you're committed, if you want an answer, if you're one of those that's ready to say, what's the solution? The solution starts with you. You have to be willing enough when you see these different things showing up on social media from black folks. See, it's easy to call it out when it's coming from white people. But are you willing to take to task your own people when it comes to the truth? Are you willing to do that? Or do you like what you hear? Do you like getting your ears tickled? Do you like, hearing that the first Superman was black, or Santa Claus was really a black man, or, I don't know. I mean, name George Washington was a black man. You like hearing that kind of stuff. So you just kind of play along with it. See, if you're that kind of individual that's going to play along with the truth, then you're not ready for truth. You're not ready for it. And so that's where the answer lies. It lies with you. It starts with you and your commitment to the truth. Because until then, you're just playing around.